Good evening and welcome back to the channel and welcome to the next episode of Golden Lap. We are back with yet another race. And so far, let's be honest, this season we are just absolutely bossing it. Absolutely bossing it. There is no doubt about it. We are 1-2 in the drivers, of which Anders Nilsson is just completely, way ahead of everyone. And then we are leading the constructors, the team standings as well, quite significantly. We're looking so good. It's really going well, and we just got to try and keep it going as the season progresses, as the races go by. So first things first, of course, the press conference. Don't forget, if you're not worried about the press conference, down in the description or in the chapters along the video, there are chapters. You can skip it, go straight into the race weekend. But we have got the press conference first. So first question, Fast Car Media returns again. Bregman has been given 2 new parts for 2 races in a row. And it still seems like he can't beat Nilsson. Is Nilsson a better driver, or will the veteran find his form once more? Other media outlets have been speculating about off-track drama. What do you have to say about this? So I'm going to treat this as a single question. The off-track drama, I'm sure there's other questions about it. But Bregman and Nilsson, yeah, it is a bit of a curious one. I think you've got to kind of consider multiple factors in this, and one of them has to be, if I can get my game screen back, there we go, and one of them has to be the fact that the first 3 races, and in fact the next one as well, have all been rainy races, where the rain is expected and has come down. And obviously Nilsson has the RAINMEISTER trait. We know how good he is in the wet. So wet races suit Nilsson. That's just quite a simple fact. He's better in the wet. We've had wet races. Nilsson is therefore taking advantage of that. So I'm reluctant to say this driver is better than this driver. It's a season. It's 10 races. We've only had 3 and they've all been wet weather races. So you've got to consider the variables. Okay. Next question. Rumor has been circulating. This one is from Cody. Rumor has been circulating that Henny Holgersson's absence for the race at Mutton Chock is due to mental health reasons rather than a physical injury. Can you give insight into mental struggles that come with racing at such a high level? Well, this actually feels like a topic of conversation that I am very much not qualified for. If we're talking about like the RP of the game, yes, I'll play along with that. DNFings this many times has it on the mental game. What I would kind of say is that a sporting level, whatever you're doing, if you're competing, there is a mental part of the game, a mental factor of the game, and how you control that, or how you combat that, or how you're kind of, able to deal with that is very important. It's definitely part of it. For example, let me go out of racing for a little bit, because I haven't done like a lot of racing, very, very little in fact, but I have played a lot of tennis and I have played a lot of cricket, and both of those sports are very mental games. Very. Batting, for example, you've got to stay concentrating. Bowling, you've got to be thinking of how am I going to get this person out. There's got to be a mental game about it. Tennis is the same. It's I only ever really played singles, and you're out there on your own against someone else who is on their own. So in terms of like the mental struggles of sport, yeah, it's rough out there, and it takes a certain character to be able to stay on top of that at all times. And even then, everyone can have a dip, and have troubles or get low or whatever. And you need to make sure you've got a support network. You need to make sure you've got people around you that can help you bounce back, because you can't do it on your own. Now that has to be the first point. So whether or not Henny Holgersson in world here in the racing world, I don't know. Henny Holgersson, I hope, is just doing all right. The DNFs are not going to help, but maybe a race away will help. Take the pressure off for a race, come back refreshed. Maybe that is something that can happen. So next question. Good question, though, and very important to be talked about. Seriously, like outside of games and YouTube and blah, 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 don't shy away from talking about those kind of topics. They're important. Okay, next up, from Secular Doro again. Success is attractive, and as such, our readers would like to know if you were to bring a date. I've lost the question. 1 second. To any of the upcoming tracks, which one would it be, and what sort of date to expect? A date. So if we're saying a date as in, you know, like a significant other, I have a girlfriend, I just bring my girlfriend. So that's probably it. Yeah, that's probably all I'll say on that one. What sort of date to expect? Well, you know, behind the scenes access to the team, maybe, potentially. You know, you could sit in the garage, see how the garage works. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. Next question, Pedal Pickle Picker from Pickle Papers. Punk, you are an awesome person. I love the fact that you... it's just awesome. There are rumors that the DNFs from the other teams may be a form of sabotage, subtle sabotage. Race after race, you're performing so well till someone puts it into Aurora, raising your efforts. Some may say it's suspicious. What are your thoughts? Well, if they're putting into the wall and we're still finishing 1-2, what are they gaining from that? Absolutely nothing. I think at this point we have showed we cannot be beat with underhand tactics. You've got to beat us fair and square. And if you can't do that, then you can't do that. Whatever. From It's Giorgio, do you have a comment on the allegations against Nielsen taking the daughter of the Ezzolini team manager out for a date and not calling her after? Dang. Anders Nielsen. Once again, the private matters of our drivers. That's up to them. Taking the daughter out for a date. Look, if they go out on a date, you know, they might click. There might be sparks. There might not. Not calling her after? Well, look, I would probably say it depends on the relationship, depends on how they were talking. But communication is always important. So if Anders is kind of lacking on the communication part, let's try and fix that up. Try and improve that going forward. Here we go. CSI is reporting some abnormalities in Nielsen's fluid pouch test shortly after last week's race. Oh my word. Some are worried that your silence on the matter implies guilt. Do you care to comment? I mean, Anders Nielsen is just in... This is what happens, isn't it? Suffering from success. Anders Nielsen. Oh, he didn't call her back. His fluid pouch. Until innocent and until proven guilty. That's all I'll say. There is no silence because there is no guilt. There is no nothing. Done. Moving on. Question from The Pace. Sensationalist Journal. Nielsen has scored 77 points out of a possible 78. How much of it was teamwork and how much of it was your work? Do you consider yourself a genius? Are you simply being carried by Nielsen's rain ability and other mistakes? All of that question, except for the part where do I consider myself a genius? No. Everything else is correct. Yes, it's teamwork. Yes, I'm trying to make the right decisions. Yes, Nielsen is absolutely brilliant in the rain. And yes, others' mistakes are a factor. So all of that is correct, except the part where I think I'm a genius, because I'm definitely not. And I'm, in fact, way below that. Don't even be contemplating. Next up, last good question though. Again, you know, I love these questions. This is actually taking my kind of engagement with the channel to the next level. I wish every series was as popular as Golden Lap and was doing it, but one at a time is absolutely fine. Hitchin Baz says, oh, this is our year 10 out of 10. We're going for 10 out of 10. Question, Trent Krim, independent. Trent Krim, independent. Didn't he take his glasses off when he used to do that? Side note, here we go. Let's talk about this. I've been yapping, but we love yapping. Ted Lasso, what a show. Positivity, I feel, when watching that show, is actually such an inspiration to me. We were just talking about the mental struggles of sport or professional sport or whatever. The pressure involved is elevated because the money is elevated and it matters more. But baseline, if you're competing in sport, there is a mental game. And I think that show did an incredible job of showing that and trying to stay positive and how you can, if you can be positive, if you can try and take not a toxic positivity where no matter what happens, we are positive. No, if bad things happen, if negativity happens, you've got to try and address that and also kind of figure out the way of like, if you make mistakes, how do we learn from that? You know, correct it if you can, learn from it, you must. Question. What do you say about the rumours that Holgersson was ordered to DNF by Ezzolini in order for Woods to catch her up? Look, that's where the suspicion does come in a little bit. But Holgersson, if he is in like a difficult situation with the team, that's on them. You know, it didn't affect us. So if they're going to do stuff like that, they can do stuff like that. We stay in our lane. We do what we're good at. And I'm not going to worry about any of the other teams. It is frustrating when the red flags appear and we lose, you know, the time or the build that we've, you know, the time, the lead we've built up over time. But, if, you know, if they're going to do that, they're going to do that. And I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. Next up, it's going to be another engine. And this time, of course, the engine will go to Anders Nilsson. So we're going to build it. It's going to cost us 7, which is absolutely fine. Look, we've got so much money in the bank. And that's a really strong engine. It's going to go to Nilsson. His car goes to 3050. And this is exactly why I'm kind of doing it like this. So we're going to click back. I don't know if we'll be sabotaged, but we'll have a look. And because we are pretty flush with cash, I'm just going to do a sweeping upgrade across the board there. I know that was a significant amount of money, but if even the smallest little, just a sweeping upgrade, we've got the money now. So no, in previous seasons, the upgrade button, I was told quite correctly, I was informed quite correctly, you know, you're using the upgrade button too much. It's a bit of a waste of money. It's a bit like throwing your money down the toilet. But I think we have kind of learned from that, and now we do know it's probably better to Inters. By the way, yeah, it's probably better to at least put some upgrades in because we do have the money. Hemlock Party Too Hard, Bancroft, Whalen, Chapman, everyone's out there having a Barney, except us. After race 1, where, you know, we did have that, and we said to the guys, look, you've got to get yourselves in line. I need you guys looking serious here. We should be targeting pole with Nilsson. In fact, we are targeting pole with Nilsson. That is 100% what I'm hoping. But it should be a contest. We need Bregman to step up and start performing a little bit better in general. So here we go. Nilsson's going to start with purple lap time, of course, because he's the first to set any form of lap time. And Bregman is 6.5 seconds slower. What on earth? Oh my goodness. That is just outrageous. That is genuinely outrageous. What on earth? Okay, so the steering is by far the worst here. So we're going to go for some steering bonuses. So 3 for a potential 1. Yeah, that's okay. Good. Not great. We're just focusing on steering and we only get 23 out of that. But no dramas. No worries. And steering and engine. Okay, that's no bother. So we'll try and spend our money wisely here. Oh, wow. 41. 43 even. The dichotomy of tuning. The flip side of the coin. Okay, Cilliers, one of our former drivers, has put his car in 2nd position. And that is absolutely lovely. Nilsson has got an open bit of track. So does Bregman. And Bregman should be improving because that was a significant upgrade to his steering. He's got green sectors going. Nilsson with an absolutely insane first lap. I don't think that's going to be beaten. 50.2. Oh, yeah, next level. Really, really good. And he'll come back in and we're just going to focus on tuning again. So it's still going to be the steering. Of course it is. So trying not to waste our money here. Oh, that's unfortunate. Risky. Paid off. Much better. Up to 53. That's a much better tuning session for Anders Nilsson. I feel like we got a little bit deep in the press conference there. We got a little bit kind of serious about what we were talking about. I think those kind of topics need to be addressed. You can't kind of avoid it. There's no point. No one learns anything if you do that. Anyway, let's stop focusing on that. Let's focus on the quali session that we are in now. Bregman running in 4th. What other drivers are there that have driven for us? Romano Artie von Heim. Is that it? I think that might be it. I think that might be it. Okay. The rain is going to make the track wetter over time. Bregman's in the zone, however. This could be an opportunity to get himself back into second position. Green lap, green sectors, and a green lap might just do it. Let's see how much time he can take. 56.4 is the current lap. He goes 55.1 and gets himself into third. Still more or less a second behind Paul Woods, however. So I think it would be a very, very difficult lap. I can't waste that and that, but we need to focus on this down here. Really rough. Okay, we're onto the wet tires now. Others are on the inter still, but we're not really worried about Nielsen because he's literally 4 seconds down the road. That first lap was something else, wasn't it? Just first lap, doing exactly what he needed to do. That works really well. Okay, here we go. Trying to get the... Oh, lovely. Not quite. That's not bad. Trying to get Bregman's golden tunes. Oh, that worked out pretty well. Out he goes. Nielsen is going to put on a lap time, but everyone else is still on the inters, which is super curious. We'll have to see who comes out. Everyone's on their in lap, so they would have set the lap when it was still inters time. But I think they'll probably come out on wet tires now. Yeah, look, Thompson's gone onto the wets. We should see some more. Yeah, DuPont's done it, and Laframboise as well. So we've got some. We've got 1 and 3. I think that's where we'll have to settle it. Let's see if we can get this done. That's too much. That's great. There we go. Lovely. Lovely. Okay, so we've got the steering done for Nielsen already. Keep setting lap times. Keep tuning up, tuning up, tuning up, tuning up. And okay, cool. Oh, almost pitted Nielsen. No, I'm just going at 8 times speed here because I don't really see the lap. I mean, there was a green sector in there for Maldonado, but I don't see the lap times changing. Thompson's crashed in the Ezzolini in what I believe is his debut as well. So that's really rough. What? Okay, we're going to have to wait for this red flag period to end. And there will be one more lap and potentially one more tuning session. We're going to send out after everyone else and get ourselves a little bit of free track. And even then, Nielsen is just so freaking fast. He's literally overtaking people. He's literally overtaking people from like 30 seconds back. What on earth? Absolutely ridiculous behavior. Okay. Yeah, so there we go. As expected, we settle for 1 and 3. Nielsen takes pole again. Bregman's going to have to sort it out from third position. Ezzolini in second and 8th. Okay, is it inters to start? It is inters to start. Push and burn, of course, off the start. And open this up. Get Nielsen available. And here we go. Race time. 4 lights, 5 lights, and away we go. Look at that really short start to turn 1. Bregman's lost the position to Cilliers early doors. Nielsen is running away already, 2.5 seconds down the road. We're on the inters, and we are burning at the beginning of this race. The sponsor challenge is to golden tune the engine. I don't know if we did that. No, I think we did. I'm fairly certain we did. Okay, can't get past Cilliers. That's no drama. Nielsen, you're just so good in the rain that I'm going to tell you to stop burning and stop pushing. And we're going to focus on Bregman for a little bit. Bregman is going to keep burning. Nielsen is genuinely running away. Like, we signed Nielsen to replace Gabriel Larousse. And last season, we had a lot of Bregman competing at the front and Larousse kind of bringing up the rear, you know, middle of the road, or a little bit further back, or, you know, middle of the pack, let's say. But now it is completely flipped, where Bregman is trying to play catch up to Nielsen, but Nielsen is just straight up too fast and too far ahead. And Bregman cannot get past Cilliers. He is not having it. There he goes. He's finally got it done. And now go down, Hunt, Paul Woods. Try and get him. Try and catch him up. You can do it. Come on. The gap is 5 seconds. Let's see it go below. It has gone below 5 seconds. 4.5, 4.3. That's because we are burning with Bregman to try and get past Paul Woods. If it would genuinely be an outright overtake, and then it would come down to pit stops later in the game, later in the race. I love that I'm not even pushing Anders Nielsen, and he is 10 seconds up the road. It's the wet race, you know. He's just so good out in the rain. Okay, Nielsen is so far ahead. Woods is 12 seconds back, and Bregman is closing that gap on Woods. Because every time Woods pushes and burns, he might open the gap out again, but he won't be able to do it indefinitely. And I can tell Bregman to push on this lap because he's focused up. And he has cut that gap, like, all the way down. He'll get him soon. He'll get him soon. Come on. Make the overtake, buddy. You can do it. Okay, we're going to go down to 1 time speed here. Going to calm you down and stop the burn. The pit, it's time for the wet weather tires. So let's do that now. Bregman will run away, go out in front for a lap, and then he too will pit his tires. And we'll go onto the wet tires because the rain is only getting heavier all the way through to like the back end of the race. Cilliers has had a good idea there to not pit, you know, to be on the wets from the beginning, and is now kind of ahead of Paul Woods, but will, because you've started on the wets, it kind of dislodges your pit stop windows. They kind of, you know, they're a little bit out of sync with the rest of the drivers. And oh, look at that. Paul Woods gets back in front of Bregman. Actually, I don't think Bregman actually got past Paul Woods, but the gap is now opened up again. Nielsen, of course, way ahead, running his own race. And we need to try and get Bregman to close that gap on Woods. That's it. That's the focus now. Nielsen is, we can just let him be. He's like, you know, he's the kind of in the corner. He's the guy in the corner doing his own thing. Absolutely content, absolutely happy. Yeah. No need to worry. Lapping cars, just out there having fun, lapping cars. Oh, Bregman's in the zone. Okay, let's give him a push and a burn and see if you can get past Cilliers, who will, of course, have to stop in not very long at all. And there he goes. Bregman makes the overtake and now can go and try and hunt down Paul Woods. The gap is only 4 seconds, but the gap from Nielsen to Woods, it genuinely, we have hit the absolute jackpot. Anders Nielsen may well take another race win here today. Oh, yeah. It's next level stuff. It really is. And I'm half expecting a red flag to appear to cancel that lead. We'll see. We'll see. If Thompson puts it in the wall, I will genuinely be a little bit suspicious. I mean it. I actually mean it. Okay, Bregman's right on Wood's tail. But we're going to play the long game a little bit here, because all of this pushing from Woods, I think is going to be detrimental to the later stages of the race. We are at 3.1 on the burn right now for Bregman. Under's in the zone again, 27 seconds up the road. Just we could ignore him. Honestly, it's kind of crazy. It's like I've got one driver who I don't even need to worry about. All I've got to do is make sure I don't mess up his pit strategy. Other than that, you leave him out there. He's in the zone repeatedly, just opening the gap and making it even more difficult for the Ezzolinis. Wow. Take a look at the others. There was actually some really interesting questions and comments. He's in the zone again about to DuPont in the Vernier. There is a chance that the Vernier car is like a next level car, but because they finished so low in the standings last season, they haven't been able to hire the drivers that could really take advantage of it. So we've got DuPont running in fourth, and I think he is currently third in the standings of the driver standings. But if there was a driver who was, let's say for example, a Cilliers or a Paul Woods, would the Vernier be running front of the grid, competing with Nielsen? Would that could genuinely be happening? I don't know. I'm not going to say it's not. I'm not going to say there's no way. Okay, Anders Nielsen can go to the end if we pit him now, but we're not going to pit him now. He is so far ahead. We're going to stretch the tyres just a little bit. Let Nielsen run these tyres for as long as possible. And then when we pit, we're so far ahead, we don't have to worry about it. Bregman will probably pit on about lap 28, 29. 3 laps time. And then, well, let's check where we are on the burn. We're 1.8. That's good. That's really good. We're just trying to bide our time on the burn. And we're going to burn hard at the end of the race with wet weather tyres. We're going to try and get Paul Woods and make it another 1-2. That's the tactic. That's what we're after. That's what we're going to do. So as soon as Paul Woods goes in, I'm going to go in as well. I might even put... You know what? I'm going to do it now. I want to repair that engine, but... Nielsen's in the zone. I reckon Woods is going in now. He's not. Okay, fine. So when Bregman comes out, Bregman is going to push for one lap on the new tyres and try. We're going to try and work some kind of wet weather overtake here. It may not work. We may still find ourselves behind Paul Woods. But it might just. You never know. Okay, let's calm it down. Now, where are we on the burn? We are 1.1. Okay. Well done, Bregman. Really, really good. The gap to Woods is 30 seconds. Now, I don't know what the pit window gap is. But that gap is coming down. George Thompson crashed. What did I frickin' say? And we lost time on the yellow flag. You know what? I'm not ready just yet to outright accuse the Ezzolinis of anything, but the suspicion is going up. Okay, I also just gave an engine repair to Nielsen because he's so far ahead. I could have even done another repair, but he's so far ahead. We pit him under yellow flags. We get a freebie repair for it as well. His race has just been next level, and he is 50 seconds down the road. 50 seconds. It's kind of a bit mind-blowing. The performance levels are a little bit mind-blowing. Next level stuff. 30 seconds left on the yellow flag, and then it's all Bregman. Not yet. We can't burn just yet, but he is only 3.6 seconds behind. We've got Nielsen out there lapping 6th place cars. Okay, not yet, Bregman. How about now? 0.2. Okay, another lap, and then I think you've got 10 laps of fuel burn to try and get Paul Woods. And let's be honest, 10 laps worth, Bregman should make the overtake. He should get it done. Okay, that's the extra lap. Let's see. 0.1. Boom. Bregman can burn from now to the end. If he focuses up, we tell him to push. If he's not focused, we keep him calm. We try and get the 2nd place. And we try and get the 1-2 and the full allocation of points. The full allotment, the maximum amount that we can possibly get from a race weekend. Because Nielsen got the fastest lap already. And I don't see that changing because the Okay. The restart. We are going to focus on Nielsen because he put in all of that gap and he lost it just like that because of Cilliers putting it into the wall or whatever. If he were to lose the race from here, I would be absolutely gutted. He's already built the lead, so we're going to now switch our focus to Bregman, who can burn to the end, but we won't be able to push to the end. That is a slightly different thing. We can burn both cars to the end, however. Okay. Going to calm Bregman down here. We've got 6 laps for Bregman to try and get Paul Woods. Now, it's not really changed anything specifically. You know, the situation, the race situation is still more or less the same. Anders Nielsen is out in front. He's building his gap. Do it again. Basically, he's already built 10 seconds. Bregman is trying to catch Paul Woods, and if he focuses up, we push him, and we try and get that position back. However, the gap is 6.5. And it's growing a little bit. Nielsen's in the zone. Bregman, could you please... Oh, not quite, but I'm going to give him a push anyway. Try and cut that gap. Here we go. Let's see if it does come down. It will. It is. 4.8. It is coming down significantly. Okay, calm it down. Get that stress level back down to 0. And then hopefully focus up here and we tell him to push again. Not quite. Okay. We're going to push for the first half of the lap. We get to about here and then we tell him to calm down. 2.4 is the gap. Okay, and calm it down. You've done well. You've cut it to 2.0, 2.4 again. No drama. I want to see you focus as you pass the start-finish line. Not quite. Okay, we're not going to tell him to push this lap. And then what I think we do is we tell him to push from the penultimate lap all the way to the end. That's got to be the tactic. I think that is the tactic. Okay, not focused up, but we are going to push anyway. Or maybe even we'll just do the same thing we did last time. But we get through maybe half of the lap and then hope for the next lap. The gap is, however, the gap is not really closing. 4 seconds. 3.8, 2.5. No, now it is closing. the last lap, Bregman. However, I think he's just a little bit too far behind, so I'm going to tell him to calm down, and we are going to settle for a 1 and 3. Well done, Anders Nilsson. I didn't even focus on him at the end when he's coming across the line. Wagner's just crashed at the end of the race. Fighting for position at the back. Look, even if you're a back marker car, where you finish is important. We knew that in our first couple of seasons. You know, you wanted to fight for every position. You didn't want to give it up. Villiers. Another of our former drivers. We take a 1 and 3. 41 points taken. We did do the golden tune of the engine. That's great. We take more money from that. Nielsen has a 40-point lead over his teammate. And the Ezzolini now are in second. But even then, they only had one car finishing there. So did Chapman, however. Henny Holgersen is back. Eric Lindberg is in the Chapman team. Okay, next up is Circuit de Casino. It's all about the qualifying, as we know. We're going to take one last look at the team standings, and I'm just going to drop a quick thank you to everyone who leaves a comment, question, all of that good stuff. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I do hope you've enjoyed today's episode of Golden Lap. Another good result, another good win for Anders Nilsson. He is absolutely running the show, and it does not look like anyone's going to catch him at this rate. It's a bit like the old Jensen Button season, isn't it? It kind of is. He's just dominating at the start of this season. And even if things kind of go a little bit awry from here, you've built up such a lead that it's not even really dramatic. You know, you don't have to worry. You've just got to drive a solid race. Thank you for watching, guys. Until next time.